Please welcome James Stephenson. James, take it away.
Hardscape is basically patios, terraces, fences, stepping stones, retaining walls, anything that works as a function in the garden. Basically, before you start, you have to figure out what materials you're going to use. On my patio or my terrace, I want to use stone, or I want to use wood. And if you're going to use wood, let's say for a fence, you have to figure out what type of wood. Am I going to use ipe, which is a Brazilian hardwood? If you're going to use stone, you have to figure out what type of stone. Do I want to use limestone? What type of bluestone is there? There's full range bluestone that has mixed colors. There's thermal bluestone that has a nice finish. So you would have to figure out the type of pattern that you would use. Once you finally decide what type of stone and material you're going to use, then you install the hardscape of the garden. You have to demo the area, and then you have to look at drainage. You have to grade the whole backyard, and then you have to decide if you want irrigation and if you want lighting in your garden. The irrigation and the lighting pipes would go in first. Then the hardscaper would bring in the sand, would build the dry wells that go underneath the bluestone. This is a garden in Brooklyn Heights. Very long garden. There was nothing back there. There were a lot of weeds. And I worked with the owner of the house, and she wanted to create different levels of the garden. She wanted to sink the middle area to create some sort of different levels. A lot of times with the garden, it's really nice to work with levels, nice to work with staircases, stepping stones. Budget was also an issue here, but she liked old wood, so we went and we found these old dock ties, and we created a little square in the center area. We created a different level there. And then she wanted a fireplace, so we looked online and we found a fireplace that we had to bring in. And then she got sick of the grass, because sod never really works in brownstones, or maybe some of you have gotten your sod to work, but it's difficult. So we just carried on the bluestone all the way through. This is another garden in Long Island City, and this garden was a complete mess, covered with Japanese knotweed. That was a huge concrete wall, and then there's another wall. So she didn't really know what to do, and again, she had old bluestone. And then we decided to convince her to paint that back wall. And then we put ipe wood to cover that other wall, so then you have a nice wood element, and then we made a bench. When you have a garden space and you might have some walls that look really ugly, or you're not sure what to do with them, often up to the first story we paint all the way around. It really enhances the garden. In this garden on Commerce Street, what we did here was, rather than a fence, we used metal sheets, powder coated in white. We created a contained bed in the back, and we stuccoed the contained bed, and then we floated an ipe bench on top of the bed. And again, that's turf. And so we've installed the whole system of the fountain, and then we put river rock over it, and also we stucco the wall. Sometimes we have to carry 500-pound stones through the house. It's very difficult. We're very strong. The designer will work with you and figure out a material that's big enough that you like, but is also manageable.